Okay, so this is step one. For step one, first of all, we need to connect two pieces of front facings together. So here we have two pieces, the front facings, and you can see I have connected at here. This is actually the center back of the facing, the pattern, center back. So this one is the wrong side, okay? So wrong side of your front facing, and then after we connect them, we need to press the seam, this center back seam open, okay? And then this is the back facing. This piece is the back facing, and I have already made a notch at the center back, okay? So this indicate this line is the center back, and this center back will connect with this center back together, okay? So later on we need to sew them together, and these two sides, they are the shoulder seam, okay? So this shoulder seam will also connect with here because this is also the shoulder seam, okay? Okay, so now I have already connected the back facing with the front facing. You can see this is the seam, okay? So I hand sew, okay? This is the shoulder seam. So from the shoulder seam to the back neckline, okay? And then sew until this shoulder seam. So one line, one stitch, we finished this seam. And then next we need to press the seam open. So you can see, because this is a back neckline, which is a curve, so that's why I cut some notches along the seam allowance. Okay, after we finish the front facing and back facing, then we put them aside, and now we need to handle the front and back pieces and also the under collar. Okay, so now you can see I have already connected the shoulder seam. This is the shoulder seam. This is the front piece and the back piece, okay? So connect them at the shoulder seam, both sides, okay? And then this is the under collar, okay? The under collar, we also have two pieces, and this is also the center back, so we connect the center back together. Okay, so now I have already finished connecting the under collar. This is the under collar, this is the center back, and yeah, this is the back neck, and this is the front seam, okay, front neckline seam, okay? So I connect them together, I sew them together, and I press them open, okay? I press the seam open, and you can see I have already cut all the notches because this is a curved line, so I cut the notches so that I can press the seam very flat, okay, like this, and it will be less bulky as well after pressing, okay? So this is the shoulder seam, this is the back piece, this is the front piece, okay? So you can see this under collar actually is to connect the neckline from the front neckline to the back neckline, okay? Okay, so now you can see I have my the outer shell. This is the back, this is the front, okay? I just turned the front and back pieces to the right side. This is the right side, so you don't see the seam allowances, okay? So this is the right side of your bodice, and this is the back facing and front facing, okay? So this is the last step. Basically, we need to join the facing together with the bodice, okay? Front and back bodice. Again, because this is the center back seam, so the center back seam have to match. These two center back seams, they have to match together, okay? And then all the way down, okay, to the hem. Okay, when you sew, remember it have to be face to face. Okay, this is the wrong side. Okay, so now the seam has joined. You can see all the way from the bottom hem to the other side of the bottom hem. And I also cut some notches because this is also a curve. Okay, so I trim the seam allowances with notches. Then next we need to press the seam open and then turn this facing over. Okay, we will turn this over. Okay, so now the front facing have connected with the bodice on the collar edge. This is actually the collar edge. Okay, so I have already pressed the seam open. Okay, so when it turns, it can turn in a good way, and I press the edge as well. So now it's very flat. So finally, what we need to do is to connect the seam allowance together. Okay, so these two seam allowances, which turning downward, we need to sew them together so that we can close this collar, or the seam allowance will be hidden inside. Okay, so this is the finished collar. Okay, so you can see it look like a one-piece collar. Okay, actually the collar is connecting at the center back, and when you open it, you will see there are only two layers of seam allowances sewing together to close the collar. Okay, after you turn the back facing down, you don't see any seam allowances. Okay, so that is the final finished shawl collar.